is Ehrin Ehlert, and I oversee Bledsoe Fort Historical Park, where we are today. This is one of the original settlements in Sumner County, and it was established by Isaac Bledsoe. Isaac Bledsoe's story and history with Sumner County really originates in 1769, when Isaac was a member of one of the largest, if not the largest, party of long hunters known to history. It's important to note that long hunters were individuals that hunted the white-tailed deer professionally. They would hunt as many deer as they could for the skins that would then be exported back to Europe to be made into things such as gloves, carriage seats, knee breeches, things of that nature. In 1769, as I said, Isaac Bledsoe was a member of the largest long hunting party that we're aware of. It was comprised of about 40 individuals pulling 1 to 2 pack horses each with them. They traversed through the Cumberland Gap in 1769, early 1770, and made their station camp in central Kentucky, about 2 hours north of where we stand today. In late 1771, early 1772, Isaac Bledsoe and a smaller group of long hunters, including Caspar Mansker, who is well known for Mansker Station in Goodlettsville, about 20 miles west of here, pushed even further west into the first frontier, into what we call today Sumner County. They set up their camp on what would become called Station Camp Creek in Sumner County, very near where Vietnam Veterans runs through that area today. From their station camp at that point, Caspar Mansker decided he was going to ride a day's ride to the west, and that's where he found his salt licks in Goodlettsville and hunted deer on the way. Isaac decided he was going to take a day's ride to the east, and this is where he ended up, in Castalian Springs today. Now, when Isaac made his trek back here in 1775, we all know what was happening on the eastern seaboard of the fledgling United States. The first shots had been fired in the American Revolution, and this required all able-bodied males between the age of 16 and 60 to report for militia duty in the eastern colonies. Isaac Bledsoe was no different, and he went back to his home state of North Carolina to fight in the American Revolution. He played an integral part in the protection of the border settlements, and eventually found his way back to Sumner County in 1779 and 1780 on a surveying party to run the line between Tennessee and North Carolina. Early in 1780, one of the first forms of government were stood up in Nashville, and the document that created this first form of government was called the Cumberland Compact. The Cumberland Compact called for numerous stations, or what we commonly called forts, to be built around the area. Bledsoe Station was designated as being one of those forts. The work soon commenced on this very property that we're standing on now. Behind me, you can see the outline of Bledsoe's original station. This site has been archaeologically dug back in the 90s and the 2000s, so we have a really good idea of the shape of the fort and the number of buildings and number of inhabitants based on the root cellars and garbage pits beneath the earth today. Bledsoe's fort was not immune to the frontier violence so prevalent in the years following the American Revolution. In 1788, Anthony Bledsoe, Isaac Bledsoe's brother, also an early settler in Sumner County, was killed in the very spot that I'm standing during an attack by Native Americans on this particular site. 5 years later, in 1793, our hero, Isaac Bledsoe, was killed about 200 yards in front of us while he was tending to crops. Native Americans sprung up out of the holler and attacked his small group of farmers and settlers, and Isaac met his demise. Individuals like Isaac Bledsoe, Caspar Mansker, Joseph Drake, and the most famous long hunter Daniel Boone, among many others, quickly became America's first frontier heroes. Through stories, through poems, talking about their exploits, their bravery, and their contributions to the American ideals.